Sounding exquisite.
Oh shit, we back again. What's up, what's happening? Come to the party and bring a friend. Fuck it, I'm bringing 10. Ooh, trying to chat a 10. Big boy trying to chat a 10. She said I was catchy. I said, so tap him in.
Touchdown!
Double cup, wow, I stuck smile when I puff loud. I touch clouds, catching touchdowns in my mind now, cause I'm zoned out. On a porch couch in the cloud. 2 coughs and I'm back now. 2 coughs and I'm packed out. Somebody give me a drink before I gotta sit down. I'm making hits now with a smooth style.
What's up, everybody? It's your boys here at the Trash Talk Tailgate. Riley Puddin Peters, the doctor, defensive backs quality control coach, Preston Rowe. And it is one of the biggest milestones of the NFL offseason, schedule release week. I mean, this is like an absolute hallmark of the offseason where we finally get to see, you know, what days, who's playing who, how the season's going to look.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, one of the funnier pieces of the new schedule release system is just the videos, man. The content teams for these NFL teams coming out and just trying to make like the funniest videos they can. And I think it's like it's such a fun piece. You know, it's a little bit of relatability that I just feel like you don't also get. You know.
Yeah. It's a new trend. You know, like the last few years, we were kind of talking about it before we went live. It's a new trend. Some of them do it really, really well every year. Some of them just fucking suck and they don't make any sense. So it's just like the NFL, you know?
It's just like the teams they field.
Yeah.
Except usually it's kind of the opposite. I feel like there's a direct correlation, and for most teams, between a solid schedule release video and a solid on-field performance from their teams.
Yeah.
Like it's like an inverse relationship. If if your organization's putting a whole bunch of time and money into their schedule release, yeah, you may not see it on the field. But then you get a few overlapping. I mean, for me, I think one that stood out was absolutely the Washington Commanders. I mean, not to toot their own horn, but like the Washington Commanders doing the Commanders Tycoon, just absolute ripping off that classic video game and giving us a solid roast for everybody that went through. And also the reveal of the game in Spain. Bienvenidos a España por Madrid. The Commanders versus the Dolphins in week 16 or 17.
Yeah. I really like the Commanders. I saw that one. Some of them were really deep cuts. Like you had to really understand the jokes.
Yeah.
And the references. I think my 2 favorites, I'm gonna mention 3. The first one I saw, I think, was my favorite. It was the Titans one, which you're gonna be dog shit on the field this year, but you have a really good social media team. The schedule Rizzy medication one, like the medicine commercial.
Yeah.
Literally calling the Browns diarrhea.
Schedule Rizzy, baby.
Just listing out all the side effects of each team that they play. That was awesome.
Yeah. The Raiders had a really good one.
Really good. You know, ripping on the Chargers as the only team to not win a Super Bowl from Los Angeles. That shit was insane.
Yeah.
They ripped on the Chiefs. The fucking pulling out the yellow flags when they ripped on the Chiefs. That was really good. I really liked the Rams one, and I did not know this about Brenda Song. You enlightened me about this.
I mean,
she's apparently a diehard Rams football fan.
Yeah,
like
she knows her stuff. Shit. She knows her stuff. It's crazy. Yeah. And just to catch it, if anyone out there is in the same age range as me and Dr. Preston, and you remember the show The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody from the Disney Channel, Brenda Song, who played London Tipton, she's apparently a giant Rams fan and really into it. So they got her to do their schedule release video. And if you haven't seen that one's an absolute classic. I mean,
it was
she's
awesome.
Yeah, she's good, dude. She's good.
Yeah. There was one point later on in the video where she She called out a defensive play call, like verbatim, for what a coach would call. And I was just mind blown. I was like, holy shit, she's fucking in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Like
It was
swimwear, and she
awesome.
knows exactly where she's going. Yeah,
And
no, I
then-
mean, that was a surprise one for sure. What were you going to say?
And then, Riley, if you're gonna do if you're gonna do a video like this, you gotta fucking own it. If you're gonna have Tyreek Hill getting arrested by the U.S. Coast Guard in your video, don't fucking take that shit down.
I also heard that they didn't license the rights to use the Minecraft theme. So it wasn't just the Tyreek Hill. They also had to take it down so they could get the license from Microsoft before being sued.
I mean, this is the team that drafted Anthony Richardson number 4 overall. So does it really surprise you when they make dumb decisions?
No, I mean, it's Colts. What else are the Colts going to do but mess their stuff up by not doing the research first?
It's true. So yeah, I did want to shout that one out. But the Chargers, they also had a Minecraft one, which was really, really good. I bet you they got the licensing for it.
They did. That's the reason why it is still up and active. You can go watch it. They actually went out and they did the research and they got it.
Shit. Go Lions.
The Lions. Hey man, listen, the Lions.
They had a Dutch one.
They had a German. The Lions.
They had a German one.
So from what I saw, I think the Lions did. Hold on. From what I saw, I think the Lions did actually multiple in the same style where they went to different countries. Like they had one from like their German. It was Detroit Lions Deutsch. And I saw one from Spain and then like one from England. And they did the same thing. They went out to these foreign countries and they just went to random people in the street and had them guess the logo, like the name of the team by just the logo. Mm-hmm. And there's some comedy the one that we watched from the German dudes, the German people. I mean, they're obviously just now starting to get American football in their own country. I mean, obviously it's a global thing already, but they're just now starting to actually get it like some of the other European countries have been. And so like they're just someone called the Bears the scary red cats. A woman was like, the scary red cats.
I mean, they're definitely scary, just not in the way you think.
No, they're only scary if you're a fan.
Yeah,
it's the only time they can hurt you. The only time the Bears can hurt you is if you're a fan.
I do want to shout out Marcus Newsom, who I've never seen in the chat before. First of all, welcome to the TTT.
Go
and
Lions.
You're a Lions fan, so go watch our brand new Chicago Bears video. Because we take kind of a deep dive into everything that's just fucked up about the Bears. And I think you're really going to enjoy it. And if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, and keep on coming back to the TTC.
Yeah. And, if you're a Lions fan, definitely go check out that Bears video centered all around the new Caleb Williams information that comes out recently in a news report. Well, it's coming from a book, which is, honestly, the book itself that it's like coming from seemed kind of interesting. It's the story of a few different quarterbacks. One of those is Caleb Williams, and it's specifically centered around the time pre-draft going into, before he gets drafted last year. And I mean, bombshells from that.
Bombshells. More Bears bombshells.
More Bears bombshells, man. Go see, dude. Caleb Williams drops the bomb on them.
Dude, they didn't watch film with him. They were too busy watching the cheese pizza.
They were stuck on cheese pizza, and they got zero film in with their rookie, like the guy that they want to take over the franchise. They left him alone on an island, and not one in the Caribbean that the rest of the people would want to visit. That's where they were.
Yep.
All right. Now, schedule release videos, some good ones. Is there any outstanding ones that you're thinking of that you remember?
I just, I do. There was one really bad one that I saw, the Chicago Bears. I kind of listed my favorites: the Titans, the Rams, the Raiders was really good, and the Colts. Just for, just own it. If you're gonna do something like that, just own it, and make sure you get the fucking licensing right from Minecraft if you're gonna do that. fucking. But the Bears,
this is
was
hilarious.
really bad though. I don't know. Did you see the Bears video?
I don't
It was
think
just
I actually
cringy.
did.
It
Ooh,
was dumb and cringy, just like the Bears.
that sounds about right. I love how the Chargers and the Colts say this dude gave the Chargers a 9.3 and the Colts are like a 4.5. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, dude. One that I did. Oh man, they gave him a 6.5. That's hilarious. You get 9.9 out of the Commanders. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Lacked creativity for the Lions. Damn, they're too busy putting on a winning football team to make a good video.
It's true. It's almost like if you invest heavily in the big ugly bastards up front, you're gonna have a great time.
Yeah, dude. Oh yeah, the Buccaneers one was kind of whack.
Okay. Did they have
was just
John Gruden?
Gruden.
Yeah, they had John Gruden.
Yeah, it was just kind of Gruden talking. Which listen, if you enjoy Gruden, I guess it's probably one of the better ones. But
I don't think women enjoy John Gruden that much.
yeah, right. All right, let's get on to the big, besides schedule release, we're gonna go back. I promise
Mhm.
you, we're not leaving schedule release alone. There's
No.
too much to talk about. But before we get there, we do want to take a little detour. And we got to talk about some of the biggest news in the market right now. 49ers, they do it. They go out. They sign Brock Purdy to this deal. Was it 5 years, 265?
Yeah.
181 guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
53 mil in his first year.
Yeah, so he's going to be making $53 million this year, which puts him 7th in terms of annual quarterback salary.
We'll go pull this up just
Yep.
to give you some context. And we talked about this a couple weeks ago. And I was very stern then. And now that it's happened, I need to back my stuff up. So we're here. This is insane. This is insanity. Listen, I get Brock Purdy he showed up at a time where it seemed darkness was all that the 49ers could be got. Injury bug had bitten them. All their quarterback room was decimated. And here comes this 6th round, 7th round pick.
He was Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah, Mr. Irrelevant. Here comes Mr. Irrelevant. Just some goofy kid from Iowa State. And he plays, gets them to the NFC Championship, gets them to the Super Bowl. And everyone's like, no way. But them signing this contract after the season they had last year, and I know, listen, injury bug bit them real hard. And you can't deny that, especially the level that they got bit. It's insane. But I think we saw a marked drop in his performance, even when that team was operating well. And the fact they go out and they sign this contract now is crazy. And it is a product of the market. And I understand the economics of why
that doesn't make it right, though.
It doesn't make it right. This is the kind of contract for a player like Brock Purdy, which I'm not saying you don't give him a chance to prove himself. I don't think you sign this contract now.
You'd make him wait.
I think he's got to play a season. He's got to prove himself on this money. 181 guaranteed over 5 years. The performance he put up this year is insane to pay that for. Now, once again, injury bug, excuses. There's a million that you can throw around him, and I'll give him all of the best credit because this is a professional athlete doing something I couldn't do. And so, I got that's the reality. But as an outsider looking into an organization, it's so damning of how everyone is just letting the market run over them like they don't have control. That's the thing that's been killing me about this whole contract inflation scenario in all professional sports, but in the NFL, I think it's incredibly apparent, is that the ownership and the coaching staffs and the players sitting out is the biggest threat that they have, right? Just raw holding out, not participating.
Yeah.
But the reality of that is, like, that's a dual-edged sword for those players, man. Like, we've seen that not work out for some players. We've seen it work out pretty well, but that, at the end of the day, that is the problem. That's where the danger is for organizations, is great players holding out and you happen to replace someone that's great. But sometimes you got to take a risk. And I think Brock Purdy's not great enough to where you couldn't replace him.
Well, the 49ers, so it's kind of a double-edged sword when you talk about Brock Purdy, because
yes,
the 49ers have had a great roster for a while, and you have to give Kyle Shanahan and their GM John Lynch credit for that. They're one of the best drafting teams in football, and they have a great roster. But they couldn't get the quarterback right. Remember, they traded 3 first-round picks to go get Trey Lance 3rd overall. And Trey Lance was an absolute bust. So they gave up so much draft capital because they're like, hey, you know what? We have this great roster. Let's go get this quarterback that we think his ceiling is through the roof. But again, it's always my argument of, I don't give a shit what your ceiling is. I care what your floor is initially. Are you a good football player?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, he's amazing. But his floor was non-existent. So that was a mistake on their part. And then they go out, they get Brock Purdy, in the 7th round, Mr. Irrelevant, and he kind of saves them. Because he most likely saved their jobs. Because when you take a risk that big and it does not pan out and it fails that spectacularly, you're probably going to get fired. But Brock Purdy saved them. So I feel like they kind of didn't really have a choice because Brock Purdy saved them. But again, go back to that list real quick.
Mm-hmm.
There's about 5 or 6 quarterbacks that I agree with you, Riley. I don't think they've earned it. I don't think Tua's earned it. I don't think Trevor's earned it. I don't think Jordan Love has earned it. I would make all of these quarterbacks wait. The Cowboys is a little weird because if they didn't sign Dak when they did, he would have walked in free agency. So that I kind of understand.
Let him go. Mm-hmm. I don't care, man. Dak being number 1 in this list is insane.
Yeah.
And I hate to just be the guy that's always hating on the Cowboys just because I hate to have that negativity all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I will say it once. I'll say it 1,000 times. I'll talk about this guy. The man cannot win an important football game. He can win week 3 at 1 p.m. every year.
Giants.
Every year. He'll be week 3, week 4, week 5, undefeated.
Yeah.
Best numbers in the league. Week 17, week 18, first round of the playoffs. Where's he at? We're non-existent, dude. He just and you cannot be a good football player and not win important football games. Like, that is winning week 3, week 4, week 5 is great. But you win week 3, week 4, week 5 to have a chance to play the first round of the playoffs, to have a chance to play second round, third. That is why you win those games. Dude, I mean, clown organization.
Yeah.
I think Jerry Jones, I think he actually changed his name, and I think at some point he was Jerry Ringling. maybe Jerry Barnum, because that dude's got a circus over there.
Well, Riley, that's again, Mr. Lee. That's insane. Like, the fact that Dak makes more money than Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, fucking, Justin Herbert. I mean, you can make that argument for Justin Herbert that Justin Herbert doesn't deserve that kind of money. He's incredibly talented, but what has he done?
Dude. I mean, literally.
Yeah. No. Mr. Lee's right. Shout out Mr. Lee.
Mr. Lee's here. But dude, it's dude, Dak getting all money than all these people is crazy. Dude, more than every quarter, more than Mahomes.
Yes, Mahomes isn't even on that list. That shows you how well run the Chiefs are. And again, if you're going to do something like this, you have to know that he's your guy and you have to lock them in early. But with Brock Purdy, it's like he had a loaded roster around him And when things weren't perfect for him, he didn't play that well.
Yeah.
So,
and just off this money, it feels like it's a bungle in the front office, not making him play through one more year just to prove it.
mhm.
I know, and it just that's what I guess that's kind of back to my point is like these front offices who are at the end of the day completely in control of the market, right? They're the ones that
Yes.
sign that check.
Yes.
They are in control. At the end of the day, the way this money flow, it is on their shoulders. They must bear that weight. And we get these guys that are signing these crazy contracts, and then when the dude's not performing like Tua in Miami last season, I mean, everybody's calling for this front office. Like, in the front offices now, we're like responding back, like, "Hey, what else are we gonna do? We can lose them, yada yada, this, that, and the third." But
Mhm.
they control the money. Like, that's where
They
it is.
do.
It's in their hands, and they're allowing this market to bull them. They're allowing this market to bully them, to make them pay them, and then like at the end of the day, they get to the GMs that make these terrible decisions get to throw up their hands and be like, "I was bullied. They bullied me into giving them $50 million a year."
That's fucked up, Jack Lee.
Yeah, hey man, he was, dude. Why? Who in their right mind
He was.
tries to protect their body with their head when going to the ground, dude? That's crazy.
No.
Also, I do agree with this, Mr. Lee. I would so much rather have a ring than a big salary. It's insane. Big Dog. I don't know who Big Dog is, but he seems like a sellout.
Nah, Big Dog, don't give me that Nike deal. But Riley, so to your point of they dictate the market, never forget the Giants gave Daniel Jones a $160 million contract. Like, why? You don't have to do that. You're bidding against yourselves. Yeah. No one else is giving him that.
I know, dude. It's like he's going to go to the market. Let him.
Yes.
Like, that's the reality for this thing. Let him. Let them.
Don't
you want to stop inflation?
Yourself.
The reality right now is that this world is only getting more athletes in it, right? Like, It feels like every generation, every high school class, college class is just getting more stacked to the gills with elite athletes. And the product of that is these GMs, these front office, these coaches, they can take control of that inflation and they can control it themselves. They can manually bring it down. We have people that get to like sit there and make these crazy deals and sit out and all that. And like, listen, I will never blame a player for trying to get their money.
No.
I will only blame an organization for not seeing that it's going to happen. It's insane. Like, all these things are like, you see, like this, it happens so often. The telltale signs are always there. You can read it like a book if you sit down and pay attention to the words. The Bungles with Shamar Stewart. Tell me that dude didn't look like the kind of guy that would sit out if that contract didn't look exactly right.
It's dumb.
You're crazy.
Yeah, dude. The league leader in sacks last year, and Trey Hendrickson, is sitting out because he wants a new contract. So we might have to potentially replace him. Let's go out and get a dude who had 4.5 sacks in 3 years in college. He's going to replace Trey Hendrickson. And then he doesn't even get the fucking reps because, oh, wow, shocker, he held out for more money. Like, that's insane. It's just the Bungles are bad. # free Joe Shiesty.
Dude.
Like, Joe Shiesty is one of the few quarterbacks on this list that deserves that money.
Dude, Joe Shiesty, I think that money for Joe Shiesty is actually a velvet prison. If we want to talk about that, I mean, I don't know if we want to get into that argument, but that money keeps him stuck in a place that doesn't care about him. So I don't know. But yeah, nah, dude. I found these exchanges where someone that is good and is deserves a chance to earn that money. Because I would not say that Brock Purdy does not deserve a chance to earn that money. You're damn right he does. Like, he is in the league and he has done well. And last year they were bit by the injury bug.
Mm-hmm.
But giving him this contract before this season, where there's so many people that are like riding on the season, like Shanahan, if they have another bad season, who knows what his job looks like? And I mean that's to say nothing, but like part of the coaching job is keeping your team healthy.
Well, Riley,
Right?
just remember, you can't blow a second half Super Bowl lead if you don't make the Super Bowl.
It's true. That's Shanahan's grand plan is to never make it to another Super Bowl so he doesn't have to lose it.
Yeah, it's true.
In humiliating fashion.
I mean, dog, that's just 3 times, bro. Come on.
Dude. But so I guess that's another thing in this is they're paying him this money. Trent Williams may retire next season.
Mm-hmm. And he's old. There's
I mean,
no
he's old this
season. He's
season.
Be amazing anymore.
Yeah, but
like,
if they lose him next year, they're going to need to go get a generational left tackle to replace him in production.
They're going to need to completely revamp that offensive line.
Yeah, they have a defense that needs pieces. That's been losing pieces. That just constantly feels like it's not as lacking depth.
Well, I mean, and that's the other thing, Riley, is to make this salary work to give Brock. Because remember, Brock Purdy was making nothing for years. Literally. So that's why they were able to have such a loaded roster.
Minimum.
You know, he was.
That's why they had to get rid of Deebo Samuel this offseason.
They had to get rid of Hufanga. They had to get rid of Dre Greenlaw. But you know, I love Malik Mustafa. I coached him. He's going to replace Hufanga. I think he's going to be awesome. We saw flashes of him last year. Malik Mustafa's a beast. You know, you go out, you draft one of our favorite guys in the draft, Michael Williams. You kind of revamp that defensive line a little bit. So they have a proven track record of drafting guys, but whenever you pay a guy this money, you cannot afford to miss. You have to hit on every pick when you pay a guy this money.
Like you become, if you're paying a mid-floor with decent ceiling quarterback like Brock Purdy, and I think that's a fair assessment. A mid-floor and a decent ceiling. I feel like when he plays his best, he's very good. But you're paying a quarterback like this, that kind of money. I'm showing his highlights of him throwing picks on Christmas.
I remember this.
But you're paying a quarterback. Like you're right. Like you now become a draft to get better team.
Mm-hmm.
Which, hey, man, listen, maybe it works out. But like, I don't know. We are a organization that believes in the trenches.
Yes.
We believe in the big, ugly bastards up front on both sides of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And this kind of pick with a quarterback like Brock Purdy that I think can be replaced. Now, don't get me wrong. I think it'd be hard. Like, you're going to have to find a pretty good quarterback to replace him in his production. But he can be. I don't think it's not out there by any means, especially with how well that team is coached. I just –
except in the Super Bowl.
Listen, yeah. That's the only game they fail in, right?
You can't blow a second half Super Bowl lead if you don't make the Super Bowl. This is Kyle Shanahan being big-brained.
Big brain.
Big brain. Yep.
But yeah, man, I think at the end of the day, this is just it's a rush. It's a rush. I think they needed one more season. I think if he
balls out this year, give it to him.
Exactly, man. Give him a chance.
This is early.
I just think it's so crazy to like pay someone. I mean, last season was not in $181 million. So you paying him for his rookie year? Like, is this contract just for his rookie year?
I don't know.
That's insane.
I think so, yeah.
You know, like that's what it is. And like at that point, like what?
But is it more or less crazy than what the Packers did? Jordan Love got that huge contract off of that shellacking they gave the Cowboys a few years ago in the playoff game.
Yeah.
Like, is that more or less crazy? Because I don't think Jordan Love's earned that money.
I don't think Jordan Love is all. I also don't think. I mean, listen, we said this is kind of at the beginning of this. There's a few names on this list that you're like, I mean, oof.
Oof. I mean, I know how much you love Trevor, but I don't think he's earned that money.
I mean, the same thing. Yeah, they paid him off of a rookie year and a dream.
Mm-hmm. It's like,
I mean, Joe Burrow, kind of his first couple of years, like that contract came from production that we haven't seen since he got the money.
well, he balled out last year. They just,
I mean, sure,
he balled.
he put up great numbers.
Yes, it's just his defense constantly let him down. So go out and get a guy who has no sacks in college to replace the leading sack.
Don't bring
That's
back
gonna
the
work.
leading sacker.
That's oh god, dude. Every time I think about it, just more and more upset. Oh,
right.
I fucking hate the Bungles. Anyway,
let's switch our pace here.
Yep.
And I think, let me see, one of these I think is what I'm looking for. Boom.
Oh, what is this?
This is just, it's such a crazy picture to look
NFL
at.
Tetris. That's what we're doing.
Every NFL game of this season put out into pictures. How does that make you feel? Overwhelmed? That's how it makes me feel. It's insane though. But I think, beautiful thing about schedule releases, now we get the power games. We get to see, who plays who, when, where.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. So let's start with first one we talk about is the Thursday games.
The Thursday games. Riley, we talked about this. I need to get this off my chest real quick. When are we going to stop humiliating the Chicago Bears on national television?
Hallelujah.
No one enjoys it. Like, who thought it was a great idea to put the Bears visiting Lincoln Financial Field and the Philadelphia Eagles on Black fucking Friday, the standalone game? Who thinks that's a great idea? Last year on Thanksgiving, the Bears debacle against the Lions. That was the standalone game. Why does the NFL continue to humiliate the Bears? We need to have a serious conversation about this. No one wants to see it. Nobody.
I do think that there's some big brain play out of the city of Philadelphia here because they know that someone in the city of Philly is going to get beat up on Black Friday. I feel like that's just a given. So they're really trying to make sure it's the Bears instead of a civilian.
I mean, Riley, I know Bears fans are optimistic this year about, we revamped our offensive line. Yeah, go ask Jets fans how replacing old injury-prone offensive linemen with old injury-prone offensive linemen works out. Even if they're good, they're going to be good early. That's in November. That's the last week of November.
Literally.
The Eagles' defensive line is going to absolutely make Caleb Williams' life hell because their offensive line is going to most likely be banged up by that point.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
I just don't get it, dude. I don't understand it.
Besides that one season a couple years ago, the Eagles have consistently proven to be a team that ramps up towards the end. So I think that's a meeting for the Bears. But let's go back. Let's rewind. Let's start at September 11th. We have Washington versus Green Bay in
That'll
Green
be a
Bay.
good game.
I mean, I think that's going to be a great game. That's an early test for both teams. I think our first game of the season is the Giants.
Yeah.
So let's go back to this. Yep, it's the
Yep.
Giants.
Yep.
So we open with the Giants, and they open with the Lions. Wow.
Oh.
So
Damn.
that's going to be a good. That's going to be an interesting game for both teams, coming off of very interesting games the week before. Let's say that.
That might be a playoff. That might be like, you might look back at that game late in the year and be like, damn, the winner of that game is going to make the playoffs. The loser might miss the playoffs.
Yeah, it might be a momentum shifter.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I like that,
Week 3, you have the Dolphins versus the Buffalo Bills. I mean, this is.
Is it in Buffalo?
It's in Buffalo, yeah. The
Okay.
team on the right. This column.
Well,
This
we
is
all
this is a
know
home team.
it won't be too cold in Buffalo. It'll be pretty nice up there. But
Yeah,
still, the
September.
Dolphins, they can't thrive up north.
Yeah, not in Orchard Park, dude.
No.
They have no success there. All right, following on for week 4, we have the Cardinals versus the Seahawks. Seahawks are going to Arizona.
I think it'll be a sneaky good game.
I mean, this is Fried Bird Thursday, that's for sure. I mean, no matter what, you're going to have some cooked bird at the end of this one.
Yep.
I mean, I think that this is the kind of game, if the Cardinals are anything like they were last season, this is the game the Cardinals put up 45 points.
I can see it.
I mean, that's just going off of how they played last season. It was these kind of upper middle teams that they really highlight. Like all of the Cardinals' great games last season tended to be against the like upper middle to upper middle. I think when they played lesser teams, they lost. When they played, the certain caliber teams where you're supposed to lose, they did lose. But against a team like this, I think they thrived. And I don't know. If the Cardinals are anything like they were last year, that's a game to watch out for them.
And then week 5, the 49ers going to SoFi to play the Rams. That'll be a great game.
I bet you Brenda Song's going to be there.
Oh, 100% she'll be there.
Oh, yeah, dude.
I'd love to get Brenda Song on the TTT.
Dude,
Chat, by the way, which games are you most excited for? Let us know.
Yeah, as we're doing this, man, what games – do you see any games on your team's schedule that you're excited for?
Yep.
That big dog, he's a sellout, so he seems like he's probably going to be a Steelers fan.
Yeah.
I wonder what kind of interesting games they have. They open with the Jets.
Damn, the Aaron Rodgers special.
Every Eagles game.
They're
excited for the opening game against the Cowboys. I think that's a great one for the Eagles, man.
Yeah.
First game of the season against the Cowboys, get to come out with a tone setter.
Division rival, yeah.
Speaking of division rivals, week 6, you have the Giants versus the Eagles.
Why are you humiliating these poverty ass franchises in standalone national televised games? Why are you doing it? You just want to see Saquon run roughshod over the Giants again? Like, I don't know, man. I don't get it. Like, Dexter Lawrence can only do so much, dog.
Yeah, all I want is for Saquads to not be able to run through the middle, As long as he gets body slammed by Dexter Lawrence every time he goes up the middle, that's all I care about. You can run it on the edge all you want. That's not his responsibility.
No.
All right. But yeah, no, that is just an absolute offering on October 9th. Week 7. Now the Bengals versus the Steelers. One of those gritty AFC North battles. I mean, if there's going to be a game that you want on a Thursday, I feel like an AFC North game in mid to late October feels like a Thursday night game.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
By the way, every single one of these games is going to be atrocious to watch. if last season has anything to say, I don't think there was maybe like 2 good Thursday night games all last season.
Al Michaels was drinking in the fucking booth. He just did not give a fuck.
Yeah, dude. Steelers and Bengals week 7, mid-October. We're gonna, it's gonna start being cold. It's in Cincinnati. That's an interesting game right there.
Yeah.
Bam. Chargers, Vikings.
That's a sneaky good game,
Yeah, that's 2 opponents that don't play each other a lot.
No. These are 2 teams that historically they've kind of been on similar paths. Like, they've been really, really good regular season teams. They just can't get over the hump. And I mean, I think the Vikings are going to be really good. The one thing I worry about is how good will J.J. McCarthy be? They have a really good roster, but I worry about the quarterback. And then the Chargers. I mean, dude, I think the Chargers are going to win the AFC West.
Yeah,
so I love the Chargers this year.
Yeah. The Ravens versus the Dolphins. This is in Miami.
I don't know, dude. Does not my initial thought was, the Dolphins might be banged up. This might be a bloodbath.
I mean, this is the day before Halloween. So let's hope there's no tricks or treats in that stadium. I don't know. I feel like this is one that the Ravens are just going to get on a roll. I don't know. I can feel it from here.
Yeah, I agree.
It's May 18th, and I'm calling that game in October 30th right now. I think the Ravens are going to get a roll on them, dude. The Dolphins, the play style between the Ravens and the Dolphins just inherently in like the core of those two organizations, I think the play styles benefit the Ravens.
I agree.
I think
the Dolphins are a finesse team. They're not a physical football team. The Ravens are built on grit and toughness. They just went out and got the best safety again in the draft just because they fucking can.
Yeah,
like, just fuck you. We're drafting the best defensive players. Like that's just what they do. And
they run the ball, and
Dolphins might be banged up at this point. So,
oh yeah, for sure. It'd be lucky for the Dolphins if Tua's still playing at week 9.
That's fucked up, but it's not.
But in week 10, but in week 10, the Raiders, they have to go mile high and visit the Broncos.
Mile high.
I think the entire AFC West is going to be a fun conference.
A fun division, yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
fun
agree.
division. I think the Raiders versus the Broncos this year, both of these games are going to be bangers. I don't know why. It's just in my soul. It's set. I'm so sure both of these teams are going to be just annoying to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be a fun game. November 6th, week 10.
Week 10. All right.
Oh my God! Ew, week 11. The Jets versus the Patriots? Ew. That's yucky. I don't like that. That's a terrible game.
I don't know, man. I feel like the Patriots. We don't know anything about the Jets' new coaching staff.
We don't know. We know who
from the
Patriots.
Lions. What?
I said we know who the Patriots coaching is, but we don't know what they're going to look like.
We don't.
So this is two teams who knows what they're going to look like come week 11.
But I trust Mike Vrabel over a new head coach in Aaron Glenn. 100%.
Yeah. Eric Glenn, we said it, but you just said it. I kind of talked over it, but he's coming from the Lions, so It's not a man that doesn't know how to win. But you're right. That's an interesting matchup.
But you would think coming from the Dan Campbell coaching tree and seeing how Dan Campbell has completely turned that entire organization around by investing in Bubs, the offensive and defensive lines, you would think that their coordinators who now get the opportunity to be a head coach would learn from that. But as we see with Ben Johnson and the Bears, sometimes they just fall on deaf ears, man. Like, why are you still drafting skill players? We have a whole video on it. So if you haven't, go watch our Bears Caleb Williams video that we just dropped yesterday.
Bears
It's the
bombshells.
best video we've ever done.
Absolutely.
But again, dude, just because you're in a winning organization doesn't mean you're going to pick up on how to win. Dan Campbell knew how to build a culture. I don't know if Aaron Glenn knows how to do that.
Yeah, no, it's fair.
So I don't know.
Also, just because you came from a winning organization doesn't mean the front of office for the new team is going to work with you.
It's true.
I feel like you get I think you get a little bit of both of that. You really get some of that with Ben Johnson over there in Chicago. Once again, go check out the video. You'll see why. Yep. But, I think with the Jets, I think that's a front office that just is chronically too involved. And so, we see if you can beat that. Speaking of beat that, week 12, can the Buffalo Bills go into NRG Stadium and beat their Texas team?
I think this will be a really good game.
I think
one concern I have is the Texans' offensive line. I don't know how good they'll be going into week 12. Because they're not great. They gave up a bunch of sacks last year. I don't know, man. And the Bills, they've kind of revitalized that defensive line a little bit, getting Joey Bosa. I don't know.
Dude, so the Texans, they live and die by the sword of sitting in the pocket and throwing deep strikes, right?
So you'd think that you'd invest in offensive lines to do that.
It's crazy how most of the teams that rely on that situation, like that scheme, don't actually invest in the offensive line. I don't know. I need to see the coaching notes on that. I want to know why so many of those teams, why that's a coordinating problem. But anyways,
Because
so
most
you're right. I mean,
people in the NFL are dumb.
and also
And I think
let's
that
add
gets
on.
proven out time and time again.
True. You're right. You're right, dude. At least their kids should make the decisions. And the Texans have lost Laramie Tunsil, who is, one of
He's
the
your best
top
offensive
10.
he but you
Yeah.
trade him to the Commanders.
Woo! Thank you. Anyways, but he's old. He is older,
He is
I
old.
get that. But he is a great left tackle still. If you go off of last year, so I think it's going to be, the battle of a team that wants to put up big passes, chunk plays, versus a defense in Buffalo that is very grinded out, very put the pressure on, especially now with the Bosa brother. Like their whole name of their game is get the pressure ramped up. And that's kind of something that the Bills are missing last year. So I think with that piece, with someone that can consistently hit like that, I think we see their defense kind of reinvigorated this season. So, I mean, I as much as I love watching the Texans and I hope that they succeed, I think they got a long stride to win that one.
I just think they kind of know that they're going to win their division just because they're surrounded by literal morons.
Yeah.
So I think they're like, we don't really have to invest. Let's just get more wide receivers. That'll work.
We already talked about
the Bears and Eagles.
So let's just, we're going to skip to Cowboys and Lions. I hope the Lions beat the crap out of the Cowboys. That's it. That's my sentence.
I think they probably will. This one I think is kind of underrated. This next one, the Falcons at the Bucs. I think the Buccaneers have one of the most underrated front offices and rosters in the entire league.
Yeah. Everyone
always shits on how bad the NFC South is. The Bucs consistently win that division.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where you're right, but it's not saying much.
I think they're very underrated, dude.
No, I'm just saying. The reason why they're underrated is because you're right. They win the division every year, but they win the NFC South, and everyone's like, "Yeah, of course they win it. Who else is going to win it? The Panthers?
No.
The Falcons? The Saints? I don't know, but I have some weird feeling in my soul that week 15 matchup against the Falcons is going to matter a lot to the Buccaneers.
I agree.
I don't know what it is, what exactly is going to be on the line, but that week 15 matchup against the Falcons, the Buccaneers are going to have to win it. Whatever it is, it's going to be like if they have to win this game, and that's going to make it fun.
Will they buck them up?
We'll buck them up. I wonder if they're going to sink their Coke cans. I don't know.
This game right here, the Seahawks, I know they've tried to fix their offensive line. They kind of went hard at it in the draft this past April. But I don't know. I just feel like that Rams defensive line that late in the year, I feel like that offensive line is just going to be busted and decrepit and banged up.
Yeah.
I feel like the Rams are probably just going to kind of roll the Seahawks.
Yeah. I mean,
shout out Kobe Turner.
For sure. No, that defensive line, I think they're going to be gassing this year. They're going to need to. All right. And then a Christmas present for us all, the Denver Broncos versus the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, I think that late in the season, who's beating the Chiefs? Who's beating Mahomes?
I don't know.
On Christmas?
Not Bo Nix. I'll tell you that.
Dude, not on Christmas.
Not on Christmas.
He's got to pay. He's got to give too much money to the child infant Jesus once the game's over. So he needs to win.
Yep.
All right. So that's it for the Monday or for the Thursday. Now the Sunday night. So this is the Sunday prime time. Speed this one up a little faster. Ravens Buffalo for week 1. That's an amazing game for week 1. It makes sense why that's the prime time game for there.
Yep.
Definitely going to be an awesome one to watch. Falcons Vikings week 2. Who knows? Who knows what the Falcons are going to look like? Do you trust
the Falcons? Like these two teams have really big unknowns. Like the Falcons, we have no idea what they're going to be. And the Vikings, they have a great roster, but We
I was
don't
about
know
to
what
say,
JJ McCarthy is.
see, they're both unknowns, but they're different kind of unknowns.
Yeah.
I think the question mark on the Falcons is about 60 font sizes bigger than the question mark on the Vikings.
That's
The
true.
Vikings have one question mark, and it's a quarterback. And to be honest, the way that they play, they could probably interchange that midseason and it not be that detrimental. And just to be honest, their scheme tends to rely on running and quick passing.
And it
So
also helps when you have Justin Jefferson.
exactly, right? An amazing wide receiver. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like the Vikings. Anyways, Kansas City versus the Giants. Why is this even on prime time? I think this is going to get flexed out.
I
this
agree.
this is just a game so that NBC can get some solid highlights of Patrick Mahomes to use for the Super Bowl later. Or actually, this game is to get highlights for Week 6 when they play the Lions.
If this game does not get flexed out, how many times is Chris Collinsworth going to come like live on national TV calling this game?
Oh, dude,
Ugh.
a lot,
Yeah,
lot, dude. It's so many times. All right, Green Bay versus the Cowboys on Week 4. I mean, whatever. I mean, that's just an NFC battle of two mid teams. You know, the two. Yeah. This is a mid pack absolute slaughter fest. Week 5, Patriots versus Buffalo. Like we said earlier, we don't really know what the Patriots are going to look like. Yeah, we got a good idea of how Buffalo is going to operate. Can they keep it up? Week 6. Now this is the hallmark one. You kind of rushing through the schedule to get to this one. The Lions versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah,
this is going to be a great game. Last year, everyone remembers. If you don't remember, the very first game of the season, the Lions versus the Chiefs. It was an amazing game, an absolute banger for the centuries. And you know,
was that last year or 2 years ago?
Was that 2 years ago?
I think it was.
Oh, it was 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Rematch. It's another one of those. Every time these two teams meet, it's a great contest.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just two giants, two titans preparing to fight each other. Week 6. Falcons versus 49ers. Why is this a primetime game? There's no indication from last season that this should be a primetime game. Why is this a primetime game?
I don't know. And then Packers at the Steelers. Those are two big brands historically, but we know the Steelers are going to have a great defense.
I mean, before the midpoint of the season, the Steelers are going to be a solid squad.
That's true.
So, that's a great. Honestly, I understand just because of the brand, just because of the Packers or the Steelers. I get why that one's even if the teams aren't the great, I get why that's a primetime game. The Falcons versus the 49ers are two smaller, loyal markets, but they're smaller markets, and they don't have a lot of diaspora. Their fans aren't really spread out. They're kind of where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
It's not; those are not the Packers and the Steelers.
No.
So that's why that one is like, why is that? Anyways, Seahawks versus Commanders.
The RG game.
This is
the rematch.
This is the hopefully Jaden Daniels doesn't get tackled by the leg game. They're gonna try to do it again to us. I'm gonna go beat them up myself. Steelers Chargers Week 10. That's probably gonna be a great game.
Yeah, I agree.
Tomlin versus Harbaugh. It doesn't matter if it's the Ravens or the Chargers. That's always a great matchup.
It's going to be low. It's going to be a defensive slugfest.
Oh, that game's going to be
running
raining.
The ball.
It's going to be in LA, and it's still going to be raining.
Yeah.
It's in SoFi, which is a dome, which is a fully enclosed. It's still going to be raining.
Mm-hmm.
Week 11, you have the Lions versus the Eagles. That's
banger.
A banger game.
Banger.
Week 11, put big red circles around that one because that is a prime time game. That makes sense to be on this list.
This might be for the 1 seed.
Oh, it very well could be, dude. That game probably means a lot in the playoffs. I bet. Like whoever wins that game, I bet you that means a lot. Tampa Bay versus LA, the Rams versus the Buccaneers. This is another one. I get why this is in prime time. Both these organizations are probably looking to be on the upper end of their divisions. Mm-hmm. So I think this is going to be a match where, it's two teams that are trying to lock in divisional wins at that point in week 12. I bet you that'd be a very interesting battle. You know, a offense that wants to air it out versus a defense that wants to lay them down.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Broncos versus Commanders, Week 13. Come to DC. Come to FedEx Field where we can put poop water all over you. Yes, this is our plan. Poop water. This is our yes. Man, I mean, you know, don't have much to say for that matchup. That's going to be one that's both these teams are. It's going to be a shootout. That's kind of all I'm thinking. Can we get past those corners?
Those corners are going to be fucking legit.
Can their box keep our running game? Who knows?
True. I like that matchup. The Texans and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
You know,
that's either going to be a 10-7 game or that game's going to be 45 to fucking 56. Like, it's one or the other. It's either going to be no scores or it's going to be like the highest scoring game of the season.
Yeah.
And just between those two teams specifically, catch me. Vikings, Cowboys. Interesting matchup. Another one where it's just brand power.
We're going to know a lot about the Vikings at this point. You know, it's just they're unknown as the quarterback. And the Cowboys, I mean, what are the Cowboys going to be? We really don't know. So
they're also, I mean, that's another team with a giant question mark over them because you just don't know what that team's going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
You know what they're going to want to be, but you don't know what they're going to actually look like because the pieces don't seem to be there. Anyways, the Bengals. What were you going to say?
I said I might actually try to go to this game.
Bengals versus the Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
Week 16. Joe Burrow in the heat of Miami. How is he going to go? How many sacks can that defense get? 1.5.
1.5. It's written. We all know.
We know how many sacks. And the Bears versus the 49ers for week 17. Why? Why? This is another one. I hate to harp on the 49ers like this, but
I hate to harp on the Bears like this. Like, why?
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Why? I mean, week 17, is this just because all the other games? I don't know. No one else is playing that week. That's really what it is.
It's just the Bears and the 49ers.
Week 18, to be determined. Interesting, you know?
Yeah. I like it.
It's crazy. Oh, Launch for next. It's crazy how the Eagles only have one Sunday night game.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Eagles are – so all of the NFC pretty much, but specifically the NFC East are owned by Fox. Well, the rights to show the games are owned by Fox.
Yep.
And so because of that, it takes a lot to get those teams to kind of flex over to the NBC schedule. I think the Commanders had previously – the Commanders signed this deal last year to get the two games that they have. And I think the Cowboys did it with them. But and you know the same thing for a couple of the other teams, but the Eagles, I think most of their games are at 4:25 this year.
Yep,
in that time slot.
In that like prime time Fox, like big kickoff game.
The 4:25 slot.
Yeah,
they're going to be the 4:25 demons.
Yeah, dude.
4:25 merchants.
That's all they care about. Television ratings.
We got Monday. Now this is. You know, obviously everybody loves Monday Night Football. If you don't love Monday Night Football, why are you even in the kitchen? And this is, I mean, week 1 you get the Vikings versus the Bears. Just a great rivalry. We've liked to pick on the Bears, but you know, when it's a rivalry game like this,
you never know.
This level, yeah, they're gonna play. They're all gonna play hard. So.
Yeah,
you know, I'm excited to see how that game turns out.
Mm-hmm.
Week 2 is a double header for Monday night. You have the Buccaneers versus the Texans and the Chargers versus the Raiders.
Another divisional game.
Yeah, I mean those are. That's a very solid 2 games for a Monday night. Both those games have pop-off potential.
Mm-hmm.
September 22, that's week 3, an absolute banger. You have the Detroit Lions versus the Baltimore Ravens in M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. Ravens Ronnie's going to be there. I mean, that's going to be a great game. I mean,
I'm excited for that game.
there's so many going through this list. There's so many games I'm excited for.
Mhm.
There's so many, and so many of them are Lions games.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking crazy.
All right, week 4 is another doubleheader week, which is I like the Monday doubleheader. It's an interesting twist that they added last year, and I think it's nice.
Mhm.
Jets and Dolphins, the Bengals and Broncos. Yeah, I mean the Jets and Dolphins. I guess division rivalry, sure, but that's a toilet. That's half a toilet bowl right there. I got to be honest.
Shit, I might try to go to this next game.
October 6th, week 5, Kansas City Chiefs versus the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
Mahomes versus Sunshine. You're right. That's gonna be a great game.
I just want to go see Patrick Mahomes play. Like that'd be
exactly,
cool.
Dude. That's right in your backyard too, man. You ain't got to go far for that one. That might be worth it,
dude. It'll be okay.
Week 6, we have the Bills versus the Falcons, and then the Bears versus the Commanders.
Dude, the rematch,
the Hail Mary game, part 2. Come on, baby, give it to me. I love it. I love the way it feels. I mean, yeah, dude.
Bro, do you know how much? Because it's in Washington again.
Yep.
Fuck, man. Do you know how much shit Commanders fans are going to be talking specifically to Tyreek Stevenson?
Dude, he's gonna have a bad time.
You're
gonna have a bad time. All right, in week 7, another doubleheader week. You have the Buccaneers versus the Lions. That's gonna be a very good game.
I'm excited for this.
And then the Texans versus the Seahawks.
I want to talk about the Bucs Lions because last year, I think you remember me saying this. I said before the year started, I said the Bucs might be legit 1 seed in the NFC contenders, and they proved that because if you remember, the Bucs went into Detroit last year early on in the season, and they beat Detroit at home.
Yeah,
that was when they were fully healthy and the Lions were fully healthy. Now, injuries devastated them. They still won their division. They still made the playoffs. Then they lost to Jaden Daniels. But that's a rematch that I think the Lions have kind of circled, because the Lions, they were playing really good football, and the Bucs went in there and beat them last year.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I think that's one that Dan Campbell's got circled in red.
Mm-hmm.
All right. After that,
buck them up.
After that, we're back with the Commanders versus the Chiefs, week 8, October 27th. I mean, that's going to be in Arrowhead.
Riley, how does it feel to have all these primetime games?
Yo, honestly, the Monday night game can go eat one. I'd so much rather our games not be on Monday, but it's all right. Week 9, the Cardinals versus the Cowboys. What a bad game. Not a great game. That's not.
I think the Cardinals might be sneaky good this year.
I think they may too, but that's not a good game. That's a bad game. I know a lot about
Packers
games.
Rematch of last year's playoff game.
Eagles Packers. I think that's going to be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys Raiders. Another one where you're like,
Mm-hmm.
Panthers 49ers. Giants Patriots. 11
Eagles Chargers, that'll be good.
Ew. Yeah, Eagles Chargers is gonna be good.
Mm-hmm.
Dolphins Steelers, it's not a great game. 49ers Colts, ew.
Yep.
Ew. Thank you for wasting the Monday night game. And then Rams versus Falcons to end the season with another doubleheader in week 18 TBD.
To be determined.
They need to figure it out.
Yep.
All right. And, of course, the last little bit of information to get out of the schedule release is honestly one of my favorite things. The international games.
International games.
So the
What
first
did the
one,
Vikings do to the NFL to piss them off?
I don't know. They got to go to Germany and they got to go to London. Oh shoot! Someone wants
At
to get
least
a
it's
few
back
viewers.
to back.
Yeah, right. Honestly, I think that's worse. I got to be real with you. I mean, they get to stay over there, I guess, but they're going to be gone for like a month because they usually go out like the week before and they stay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're going to be gone. Anyways,
Well, the Jaguars did it, I think, last year or 2 years
yeah,
ago, where
but they stayed.
they
All right,
stayed.
but when the Jaguars did it, both of their games were in England, so they
Okay,
didn't
that's
leave
fair.
London.
Mhm.
The Vikings have to go from Germany back to England. Like
That's dumb.
they're playing in 2 different countries in 2 weeks. Anyway,
That's insane.
first game, this is missing something, but the first game is the Chiefs versus the
Chiefs.
Chargers. That's the team
Yep.
that's missing.
In
That's
Brazil.
in Rio or Sao Paulo, Brazil, in the
Brazil.
Corinthians Arena. So that's going to be a very interesting matchup for the
Mhm.
week 1. September 28th, you had the Vikings versus the Steelers in Dublin, Ireland. Never mind. That's Dublin, not Berlin. So they got to play in Ireland and England in 2 weeks. So that's actually not that bad. Never mind. I defend it.
Nope.
They're fine. And then once again, the next week on October 5th, for the Vikings versus the Browns. We hate London. And Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London, which is one of the
Why?
nicer stadiums.
Why are
in the
you
world,
subjecting the good English people to that?
because they're not. The Broncos versus the Jets on the 12th, the week after that. Dude, in Tottenham again. Wow. That's just. I love how we send certain teams overseas consistently. It makes a lot of sense. And then the week after that, October 19th in Wembley, you have the Rams versus the Jaguars. The Jaguars playing in their only true home stadium, Wembley Stadium.
True.
Now, this is the one that's in Germany. The Falcons versus the Colts in Berlin. We don't care about Germany. This game is retribution for World War II. That's why we're sending them the Falcons versus the Colts.
Yep.
The reality is we're sending them there because those teams couldn't sell out their own home stadiums. Yikes.
Anthony Richardson is their punishment.
Yeah. Getting to watch him play ball.
Mhm.
The other punishment is the Falcons newly drafted 2 edge rushers and 2 corners. And then the last one, November 16th. Yeah.
Are you excited for this one, Riley?
Absolutely. The Washington Commanders versus the Miami Dolphins in Madrid. I mean, the first time that we've been in Spain, Santiago Bernabeu Stadium in Madrid. First time in Spain. I mean, this is a very interesting matchup, the Commanders versus the Dolphins. Mike McDaniel says he likes it cold, but we know he really likes it warm, so it's going to be decent over there in Spain. Thank God for him.
What will the Dolphins look like at this point in the season? That's the question I have.
Yeah.
Because again, they don't have a great offensive line. They have aging wide receivers. We don't even know if Tua will be healthy. I know that's fucked up to say, but it's just kind of true. I don't know, dude. I feel like there could be a lot of question marks going into this game.
I feel like there's a lot of question marks around that organization in the beginning. So, at that point, by the time November 16th rolls around and we're in Madrid, I think a lot of your questions are actually be answered, and we'll know exactly what this matchup is going to look like. I got to be real with you.
Yeah.
But that's the international game circuit. 7 games up from last year's 5, I believe. And we adding Madrid.
Yeah, Madrid.
Maybe Dublin. I know they played a college game in Dublin last year, but I don't think they played
it was
an NFL
Georgia
game.
Tech, Florida State.
Very opening of the game. Great game. Georgia Tech. That was the first time that was the first time the world got introduced to run the ball.
Exactly.
All right. Now, this was an interesting piece. As we finished talking about this, miles traveled And this is insane. The disparaging, the difference between the highest on this, the Chargers with 37,086 miles, and the lowest, the Bengals with 8,753. Almost 30,000 mile difference in the amount that these teams have to travel throughout the season. And the Bengals are still not going to do that well. It's insane.
No.
Insane.
No.
But no, this is something that is so forgotten in sports.
Just the jet lag.
Jet lag, dude, traveling. That time, that travel distance, that shit matters, man.
It does.
It matters. Those are the most susceptible times for a lot of these athletes. When you're talking about nagging injuries, especially not the big ones. Obviously a player's not going to tear his ACL or his rotator cuff on a flight. But a dude that's been dealing with ankles and knees and all this kind of stuff in and out, man, like those are the times where they don't get to stretch, they don't get to relax. And that's the kind of stuff that doesn't allow your players to recover properly. So the challenge for LA on both sides, right? The Chargers and the Rams.
Yep.
For the Seahawks, for Jacksonville, is controlling their players, resting, relaxation, and recovery, and monitoring how they do it with all that travel. 37,000 miles in one season is crazy.
That's insane. Because remember, so they're going from Los Angeles to England to play the Jaguars.
No, they're going to the Rams. I was talking about the Chargers. The Chargers are going from LA to Brazil to play the But you're right. The Rams are going from LA to England, which you don't even fly over the United States to do. To do that flight, you actually fly over the North Pole, essentially.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's literally that's like such a far flight, they go the other way. Let's just ignore this. Let's go fly over Russia.
That's crazy.
They're gonna shoot down the plane because of all the weed on it. Brittany Griner style. That's insane though.
It is. I mean, it's because it definitely has an effect. You saw it, I think, last year in college football when a lot of the Big Ten when a lot of the Pac-12 teams who are now in the Big Ten, like USC, Washington, UCLA.
It was specifically Stanford and Cal.
Yeah.
Last year when we were talking about that, we were talking about Stanford and Cal because they were now in the ACC. They traveled, I think Stanford traveled 40-something thousand miles last season.
It's because it's just back and forth.
So much back and forth.
Country.
Yeah. No, it was insane. And
I think you saw it on it reflected in their play on the field because it's just jet lag. Like you're used to getting up at certain times. Your body clock is all fucked up. You're not focused. You're out of sync. Like it's a real thing that athletes have to be able to power through. But that's difficult.
And coaching, not only do athletes have to power through it, the organizations have to plan. Like you have to plan so well to handle this amount of traveling. Like you have to think about every single flight that you're going to take. They have to be arranged perfectly so you can allow the best and most opportunities for your players to recover.
Yep.
Which is, now you're talking big brain, hours of planning, which, obviously these are billion-dollar organizations and that's what they're supposed to do. But it's just the amount of extra work that goes in when you're traveling 37,000 miles versus 8,000 is, I think, double,
Because I think a lot of people would just be like, just leave a day early. If you leave a day early, that means you're losing 1 day of prep as a travel day, where you could be practicing or you could be, watching film as a team. You're losing a prep day. So all of that has to be factored in. Wow. You're right, Riley.
Holy shit. The farthest the Bengals have to go, is it even a away game? I actually don't know if that's an away game. No, that's a home game. Where is it? Miami?
It might be Miami.
No. No, hold on. I was looking at the wrong one. I was looking at
At Green Bay.
That's not far. No, that's not far at all.
them. Yeah.
The farthest they travel, it might be Baltimore. Nah, that's from Cincinnati.
No.
I'm tripping. They go to Mile High. No, they don't play.
Okay.
I was looking. Oh, they do play. Okay, they play them down here. Never mind.
Then it'd either be Miami or Mile High.
I think it's Miami. It's Miami or Mile High for sure.
Yep.
That's insane.
That is fucking insane.
Like,
that's an easy schedule.
schedule.
I'm not saying it's an easy schedule, but you need to take advantage of that.
The Chargers, all right, let's put it in context though. The Chargers go coast to coast 1 time, 2 times, essentially 3 times with the Tennessee Titans. I mean, Tennessee's pretty much there. Yep. 4 times with Jacksonville. 4 times they go across essentially the entire contiguous United States.
That's insane.
I mean, that's crazy. Devious work. All right. One last thing is we got the NFL, the strength of schedule results from NFL.com itself.
Yep.
Going down, or starting from the bottom going up, we had the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, as always, 7 primetime games. A team that's going to be, just because of their division being so underrated, even though a lot of those teams we actually believe are going to be decent this season, they kind of get underrated just because of historical performance. So, they do have some very big non-division, non-conference games that they got to play this season too, though.
Like
so
the Lions.
Like the Lions, like the Commanders.
The Commanders.
Yeah. I mean, those are some big ones. Minnesota, they have the international. I think theirs is all based off that international double dip.
Yeah.
I really think that does, dude. That's kind of like a big thing, man. Like that throws off the vibe of your team. They're gone from their families. They're gone from their homes for weeks. Like, that's going to be like a month.
Weeks.
I'm not shitting.
Yeah.
Because, I knew it. I was literally about to say, I bet you they have a bye week after their international stint. And sure, they do. There it is. Yep. Literally, they're going to be gone for a month because they're going to leave the Monday or the Tuesday after this Bengals game.
Yep.
They're going to be gone that whole week. Then they're going to play. They're going to go to London. They're going to play. And then they're going to probably spend at least 3 of these bye week days in London just to make sure their bodies are recovered before they travel. They're going to be gone for almost a month.
And then after that bye, you get straight right into it again by playing the Eagles.
Have fun.
That's
good luck,
rough.
babe. And they have the Lions on Christmas.
Oh shit!
All right, then you have the Eagles. They only have 1 true West Coast trip versus the Chargers. 5 primetime games, but this is a team that's playing a lot of good teams just out of the sake of where they're at. They're going to play the Commanders. They're going to play the Chiefs.
Bucks game. Fuck.
Yeah, the Bucks, of course.
Getting excited. Let's go. All right.
Then you have the Bears. Now the Bears, they have a hard.
They went 5-12 last year. How do they have a difficult schedule?
Well, that's the thing, is they suck so bad that every team they play is difficult for them.
That's true.
Nah, but it's true. They start out the season with 2 absolute bangers. They go Vikings on Monday Night Football and then at Lions.
Oh, dude,
so, I mean, that is rough, dude. They get those. Then they have the Commanders. They have the Ravens. They have the Vikings again.
At the Bengals, that's going to be.
They have to play the Eagles. They have to play the Packers. They get the double dip of the Packers, and then they finish with the Lions. That's a hard schedule.
That's a very hard schedule.
Browns. I think Browns have a very similar situation, dude. They, because of their not great team performance last year, their schedule is just going to be harder because all the teams are going to play better than them.
They open with the Bengals, at the Ravens, at the Lions, at the Steelers.
Go to London.
Go to London to play the Vikings. At the Raiders.
Yeah. Now the Giants, theirs is hard because of the NFC East. 6 out of their 15 games, 6 out of their 15 games are against opponents that are going to be 100% ranked above them.
Mm-hmm.
Washington, Dallas, and Philadelphia are all going to be considered top for them. So, yeah. They have the first and true strength of schedule. But, yeah, man. I mean, listen, they open up with the Commanders at Commanders, then they go to Cowboys at Cowboys. Then they have the Chiefs at home, just as a joke. And then the Chargers at home. And then they get to play a team that, like, this is the first team that they get is at the Saints, where they're like, oh, we could maybe win this.
Yeah.
That's like the first game where most knowledgeable people are like, oh, they could win this.
You're just
And then after that, it's Eagles, Broncos, Eagles.
those first like few weeks of the season, you're just getting kicked in the face repeatedly.
Let's see how they make it out of this.
Oh.
They got to get to week 10 before they get another opponent. I guess week 9. 49ers are probably there. Like this is like
wild card.
This is their weakest point of the schedule, it looks like. Is these 2 weeks where they play the 49ers and the Bears. And then because you come back with Packers, Lions, Patriots, Commanders, Vikings, Raiders, Cowboys. And then last is the Detroit Lions. I mean, I think theirs is just hard because they're just going to play so many good teams, man.
Yeah.
The Packers, the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Bucks, the Commanders, the Eagles. The Packers, of course, they're going to play the Packers twice. They're going to play the Vikings twice. They're going to play the Bears twice. But, yeah, Rams, Steelers, all of these are, like, rough opponents, man. Yeah. They don't really have an easy game. Maybe the Bears. But, honestly, those are divisional rivalries. And as much as we can say one team is going to be better than the other, there's no saying, like, those division rivalries are just going to be tough fights. And so, plus then on top of that, they have the AFC North, which all of those teams are just going to give you drag them out, punch in the mouth brawls of games. So,
yep, yeah. I mean, I still love the Lions. I think I think rosters, but that's a tough schedule.
It's a tough schedule, but I think this is if the Lions do well this season, like the bravado, the aura off of that squad with the first ranked strength of schedule. I mean, I don't think you can beat it, dude. They're going to be able to walk the walk and talk the talk. That's a fact.
And one thing you worry about is just getting banged up for the playoffs like they were last year.
Being healthy. That's the only thing you got to worry about with such a hard schedule. But we said it before, we said it again. Dan Campbell knows what it takes, and he's gone out and they've invested in depth this season. And I think they saw this schedule coming together, months ago, as all of the GMs and head coaches do. And they were like, I know what we need to do, dude. We need to make sure that come week 10, when we play the Commanders in a playoffs rematch, come week 14, when we got Thursday night, or come week 13, when we have a Thanksgiving game against the Packers, come week 14, we have the Cowboys on Thursday night, come week 17, where we got the Vikings on Christmas, we're ready to go. So, Dan Campbell.
It's just the schedule is always fun, dude, because it means football is like, it's coming. It's not here yet, but you can see it on the horizon. It's
not here yet, but you damn well know it's going to come.
Yeah, it's going to come.
All right. Well, folks, we thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you for listening to us. Like, comment, subscribe, all those beautiful, wonderful things. Tell us your favorite game in the comments, man. Let us know, what games are you excited for? Are there any power matchups that you're like, oh, that game's going to be sick? Are there any? Here's a good one. Are there any games that don't involve your favorite team that you're like, I need to watch this?
Yep.
Let us know, man. Like, comment, and subscribe. All the beautiful things.
All of them, dude. Go watch our new Bears video.
Absolutely. It's a banger. It's a banger. We wouldn't send you there if it wasn't good. Go watch it.
Yeah, exactly. It's I think it's one of our best ones that we've done. Just tired. I'm just tired of Bears fans not learning. Like, when are you gonna learn?
When are you gonna
Team's
learn?
not good.
How do I reach these keys? All right. Thank you everybody for tuning in. One last one. We're gonna clean up and get out of here, y'all.